Okay, this is a mini lesson on the rhetorical strategy of forced teaming. And the bulk of this lesson was created by Kristen H., Daniela G., and Destiny G. They did an awesome job with this, and this is a very important strategy to know because it's one you will find being used quite a bit in a variety of pieces of writing. So if you can get down what forced teaming is, how it's used, why it's used by authors, and how that affects the audience. It's one of those that you probably will be able to use over and over again when you're analyzing the rhetoric of a piece of writing. Let's get started. Let's start with a basic definition of what forced teaming is. Forced teaming is used when an author or speaker uses words like we or our frequently. That's how you know you're seeing forced teaming, right? The repetitions of words like we and are in a speaker's speech or an author's story. That is how you know you're dealing with forced teaming. And because I'm an English teacher and it bothers me, it's important that we close these quotes here as well. Okay, sorry, had to do it, guys. So, how can force teaming be used and why is it used? Well, it can be used when you want your reader to believe that they're a part of the story as well. And when we say story, we don't mean just like a narrative, but that they are a part of whatever it is you're trying to persuade them to believe, that they're already with you. Okay. In many cases, the author uses forced teaming so that the audience believes that they're a part of the goal or plan, and also to persuade them. Something as are and we create this feeling in an audience that they are connected to the author or speaker. Something strange goes on in the audience's head, and psychologically, they start to see themselves associated with the writer or speaker. It's a very small trick, but it's a very effective trick. Being a part of it, being a part of things. When the audience believes that they're a part of the plan being presented, it is going to persuade them a little more. Subconsciously, they're going to feel more comfortable about the idea. They might be more likely to agree with it, even if the idea is not the best idea in the world. A small strategy like that can have a great effect. So, let's look at some examples of force teaming here. Let's see what it looks like in action, right? We all know that our success in life should be judged by how much money we make, right? Keys to knowing this is forced teaming. We got are, we, right here. Okay. So now, do you notice how those simple words we and are work in this sentence? We don't necessarily all agree that success in life should be judged by how much money we make. In fact, there's probably a lot of us who would disagree with that statement. But just through the use of we and are, it makes us lower our guard a little bit. We all know this, our success. We're together in this, and it creates a good feeling, right? We all know that life is not easy, but in many ways, we can make things less harder for ourselves. And let me help out with this. That is probably not a word we should use there. We would take that out. If we want to say maybe less difficult for ourselves, that would probably be a better option there. But even that word ourselves there would be considered forced teaming, right? So we all know that life is not easy, but in many ways we can make things less difficult for ourselves, right? Well, maybe we don't all know that life is not easy. Maybe some people think life is very easy, right? That's how force teaming works. It makes us lower our guard and kind of accept that a little better. Even this old advertisement, right? This old propaganda poster during World War II that was encouraging women in the workplace, right? We can do it, bringing everybody together. Very effective strategy. Here's some more good examples here. Let's look at them. Okay. Our lifestyle doesn't make us who we are, but that path we chose for ourselves. Ourselves, right? A great example of force teaming being used. Time and time again, we tend to doubt our abilities. But if we were much more positive and take this comfortably without hesitation and just say, we got this, we would accomplish so much more. An author could have chosen to very easily write this statement differently, right? Instead of our, you could use my here, right? My lifestyle doesn't make me who I am, but that path I chose for myself, right? That says the same statement, and the writer's saying it from their point of view, but you see that that use of our, us, we makes us want to accept that statement a little bit more. So let's look for examples of this in action. This is actually from the 2011 AP Rhetorical Analysis essay prompt, and you're being asked on here to analyze the rhetoric being used. I want you to take a second and pause the screen here on this and see if you can spot where force teaming is being used throughout this piece. Go ahead and pause it. Hopefully you noticed from the get-go, right? We, right? You see it used throughout this piece. I think there's a great example later on in this text where you see it being used in a repetition, okay? So even the repetition of force teaming to create this, right? We do not wish. We prefer to have our work done, right? We are almost powerless, right? All of that is force teaming, and all of that contributes to that feeling in the audience that they are in this together. It's a great example of force teaming at work. Hopefully you understand a little bit better what forced teaming is, how it works, why an author or speaker would use it, how it affects the audience, and also how to spot it. And you'll be able to use that on many of the different prompts and pieces of writing you see that you're asked to analyze.